So, in the next 10 seconds, your heart will beat around 13 times. Well, as long as you're not running from a bear. All the human hearts in the world will pound 83 billion times. You'd think it'd be louder, wouldn't you? A blue whale's heart will beat once, an elephant's 5 times, a small dog 20, and a tiny hamster's tiny ticker will do it 66 times. But the hummingbird wins with 200 heartbeats on the count of 10. It'll also flap its wings 530 times, while a bee will fit in 2,700 times. You'll blink 3 times. You'll do it so often, your eyes stay shut 10% of the time you're awake. You'll read 50 words from your favorite novel, but only 20 words from a technical manual or scientific research paper. You'll speak 19 words, and an auctioneer will squeeze out 108 in just 10 seconds. Average computer users will manage to type 6.5 words. The world's fastest typist, Barbara Blackburn, will beat you with 35 words in the same time. 8 random thoughts will pop up in your brain. You'll take 2.5 breaths. A dog will take 4. You'll shed 5,800 skin cells to make room for new ones. In a year, all that shed skin together weighs almost as much as a gallon of paint. Your heart will pump enough blood to overfill a large Starbucks coffee cup. In the meantime, your kidneys will filter enough blood to fill a nail polish bottle. All your hair combined will grow 4,400 micrometers. Don't be impressed, that's 4 grains of sand lined up. Your body will produce 20 million red blood cells to carry oxygen to and CO2 from your body's tissues. But let's not forget that 1.1 million new white blood cells will appear to help keep you healthy. Each one of your neurons will fire 5 to 50 times during each of those 10 seconds. Altogether, they'll fire 280 billion times. If you're thinking about those shocking numbers, congrats! Your brain just used 126 watts of energy. What did you say? 107 million DNA mutations will happen in your body in the next 10 seconds. Your eyes will process over 90 million bits of visual information, but your brain might reduce that to less than 50 bits. And your sense of taste will only process 10,000 bits of data. When another 10 seconds go by, your brain will execute 1 trillion operations. Meanwhile, 166 million tons of rain will fall on Earth. If all the water in the atmosphere fell as rain, it would cover the whole planet's surface in a puddle as thick as an aspirin. Over 2,600 meteoroids will enter the atmosphere. More than 90% of them will burn up before they can reach the atmosphere. The other 10%? Ouch! The Earth will get struck by lightning about 1,000 times. One earthquake will happen somewhere on the planet. The Weather Channel will receive over 3 million forecast requests. If you're watching this video on your phone, the camera will capture 240 frames. In the world of social media, users will post 92,000 tweets. People will post 10,500 photos and videos on Instagram. And 500,000 Instagram users will hit the like button on a few of those posts. Another 52,000 recent stories will show up on the platform. 57 curious individuals will create a new Instagram account. Out of all the emojis to choose from, the heart one will get used 3,800 times. 15 excited people will enter Disney World, but only 6 will enter the Magic Kingdom. 768 feet of lawn will get mowed at the establishment, or about 2.5 football fields. 24 thirsty visitors will get a Coke, while only 4 water bottles will be sold. And 3 people will order a burger at Disney World. McDonald's, in its turn, will sell 782 burgers. 181 of those will be Big Macs. In just 10 seconds, Mickey D's will sell the weight of a polar bear in fries. 8,500 customers will be served, and of those, 163 coffee drinkers will buy a cup of joe there. McDonald's crew members will use 686 eggs. An estimate of 2,023 Uber drivers will complete their trip. All of them combined will drive enough miles to go around the moon's equator, plus some. 202 phone users will download the app and order themselves a ride. Many Uber drivers will make $264 in tips combined. Almost 6 million Facebook messages will be sent, and people will share 67,000 new photos through the app. By the time you count all your fingers, 5,500 new video chats will start. People will send 600,000 emojis and almost 6,000 GIFs on Messenger. 30,000 app users will start a new conversation. 289 others will join a group chat. 117 people around the globe will get online for the very first time. 91 others will join the world of social media and get a glimpse of how crazy it is. 500,000 gigabytes of internet traffic will be created, and 306,000 gigs of new internet data will appear. More than 12,600 online transactions will go through before you hear the next fact, and a large percentage of them aren't for physical products. 439 individuals or companies will register for a unique domain, but only 94 websites will be created. It'll take us days to explore all of them. Snapchat users will share 200,000 photos and videos. Active Snapchatters will check the app 30 times a day. 20 people will join LinkedIn, aiming to make some professional connections. Content creators will post 83 hours of YouTube videos, and this one belongs to that batch. 476 new blog posts will appear on the internet, most of which we'll never have the time to read. Phone users will manage to send over 2 million texts, with an average typing speed of 6 words every 10 seconds. While you comment on that, Amazon will ship 185 packages to its online shoppers. And Amazon's CEO, Jeff Bezos, will make $32,000 in those same 10 seconds. As for Bill Gates, he'll make roughly $3,800. Netflix watchers will stream 16,000 hours of movies and shows. 55 new tablets will make it to their new homes. Parents will spend $318,000. Americans will make $887 cash deposits to ATMs. There will be 1,840 withdrawals in that same time. 166,000 passengers inside airplanes will zoom somewhere over the Earth. 11 planes will take off from a runway somewhere in the world. 31 guests are checking into an Airbnb, while 58 others are already staying there. 47 future travelers will be making an online booking for their trip. People around the world will drink 230,000 cups of coffee. 104,000 people will finish drinking their Coca-Cola. Businesses will produce 600 lipsticks. 20 lovebirds will tie the knot, and we'll have 10 newly married couples. 24 people will buy a new home. 43 new little humans will enter the world. 7,000 little chicks will do the same. But a species of nematodes will multiply by 69 quadrillion during that time. People, companies, and bots will send over 33 million emails, most of which will end up in our junk folders. Google will attempt to answer 30 million questions in people's browsers. Meanwhile, 4,760 Redditors will be looking for answers on their favorite site. 324 users on the site will leave a comment on a post. Frequent online shoppers will leave $1.2 million worth of items in their shopping carts. 472 people will buy a smartphone. 70 will choose an iPhone. And 13 people will be proud new iPad owners. While people are unboxing their new gadgets, Siri will respond to 39,000 requests. A total of 7 Apple Watches will be sold. A little over 9,700 apps will get downloaded on iPhones. 2,900 of them will be games. iPhone users will send over 2 million messages. 125,000 music lovers will stream their favorite music on Spotify. And 2,500 new songs will make it into people's iTunes playlists. The sun's light will travel about 1.8 million miles. That's only 1/50th the way to Earth, though. If you could travel the speed of light, you'd circle the globe 75 times in 10 seconds. Our universe will expand by 92 miles, a third of the Grand Canyon's length. The Earth will travel 186 miles in space. That's 2/3 of the Grand Canyon. Our planet will rotate about 3 miles at the equator. It'll take the average person half an hour to jog that. The sun will consume 6 billion tons of hydrogen. I wish I could give you an analogy for that, but hey, it's a lot of gas. 300 stars will explode, but don't worry, 48,000 new ones will appear. The Andromeda Galaxy will come 680 miles closer to us, and I'll take 10 seconds to find my shoes. Maybe longer. Ay ay ay, about 6% of people can vibrate and rapidly shake their eyeballs back and forth. It doesn't mean something's not right with their eyes, it's just a unique trick they can perform. Good at parties, I suppose. Your bones are designed to be used a lot daily, and some of them can absorb 2 or even 3 times your body weight. That's impressive, but your teeth are even stronger. When you bite something, the teeth can exert incredible pressure, up to 200 pounds. By the way, the enamel is considered to be part of your skeletal system. Your stomach has a pretty incredible capacity, being able to hold up to half a gallon of liquid, a whole large bottle of Coke. It's pretty hard to estimate how much hard food you can squeeze into your stomach, since the food is processed with your teeth before it gets inside. There's definitely not enough room for a turkey, but a good-sized chicken will probably fit it. Whenever you rotate your hand, the bones inside it actually intersect. Grab your hand and verify it. Yeah, not very useful. Now, show me where your stomach is. If you're pointing at your tummy, sorry, but it's wrong. It's up here, hidden between your ribs. Fun fact about bones. You know that your body is about 60% water, right? What's new here is that your bones are in this too. About 25% of the human bone mass is made up of water. Scientists believe that the appendix isn't here to stay. Nobody really knows why we need it, but some researchers claim it helped our ancestors process the tree bark they were eating. As it's no longer part of our daily diet, the appendix can disappear from our bodies without any consequences. A human eye has some resemblance to a car engine. They both need various liquids to perform properly. An engine needs gasoline, and an eye needs tears. In order to work well, the tears should be thoroughly distributed all over the eye. That's why we blink up to 20,000 times a day. So, a lid is a bit of a windshield washer. Almost all of our body is covered with hairs, even if we don't notice them. They grow even in the belly button. Their purpose is to catch lint. The only part of the human body that doesn't get any nutrients from blood is the cornea of the eye. Instead, it's fed by tears and fluid in the front of your eyes. If you never knew you had a personal bodyguard, look deeper. Your liver is your security guard, protecting you from toxins and many other things you don't want to have. It's also pretty indestructible and can even regenerate. When you blush, it means there's an increased blood flow in your body. Not only do your cheeks get somewhat red, but your stomach lining too. It's because it has plenty of blood vessels, and when there's more blood than usual, it turns red. Only about 43% of you is actually you. You're over 50% tiny little creatures that mainly live in your gut and other body parts without ever leaving it. Still, even though your own cells are fewer than microbial ones, there are, on average, about 100 trillion of them in you. Let's count them. You start. Your stomach has a lining replaced every 3 to 4 days. That's done to stop it from eating itself. The digestive acids we've got can be pretty damaging. One thing that surely rests while you're sleeping is your nose. You just won't smell anything nasty in your sleep. The thing is that your sense of smell basically deactivates at night. If there's some really terrible smell in your bedroom, you won't even be bothered. We can accidentally digest small objects, such as plastic items, glass, coins, and many other small objects. They pass their way through the digestive tract within 48 hours. Really, just trust me on this one. You have better things to do. Scientists used to believe we could distinguish about 10,000 smells. Nope. Recent research showed that people were able to distinguish more than 1 trillion smells. We also remember them better than anything else, and smells can even evoke some distant memories. We can digest tiny quantities of plastic, but the human digestive system can't really bear grass. Grazing animals have special teeth and several stomachs to process raw leaves and grass, while we have none of that stuff. But don't feel bad. Among mammals, only humans can always walk on 2 hind limbs and keep that posture for their entire lives. You might object that kangaroos or gorillas move in the same way, but the roos use their tail as a third leg, and gorillas use the help of their long arms to keep balance. The stomach is the most important defender of the immune system. Hydrochloric acid in our stomach kills dangerous food toxins, viruses, and bacteria that get in there with the food you eat. This acid can digest even the stomach itself, but the mucous membrane protects it. Body fat isn't just a nuisance. It acts as insulation material, energy reserve, and shock absorber. Your body sends the most fat into your waist region because that's where your internal organs are. If something happens to you, this layer of fat might as well protect your vitals from irreparable damage. We've got two really fast muscles. They control the eyelid closing. These are the fastest muscles in our body. Eyes are fragile and need protection. That's why, when the reflex is triggered, these muscles shut the eyes within about 100 milliseconds. That's not more than 0.1 second. We recognize only purple-blue, green-yellow, and yellow-red colors. Everything else is a combination of these three. It's impossible to calculate how many of these combinations the human eye sees because every person has slight visual differences, but it's about 1 million combinations on average. Now, even if you brush your teeth twice a day and never forget about mouthwash, your mouth still stays one of the dirtiest parts of the human body. Ew. Millions of bacteria live inside it. The good news is that most of these bacteria are good for the body and protect it from bad bacteria and viruses. The second dirtiest place is the belly button, and it's probably because it's the first ignored place. The thing is, we don't really use them after we're born, so this forlorn area accumulates all kinds of germs, sweat, and dirt. The belly button has over 2,300 bacterial species, and it does need extra attention. You think you owe your strong handshake to all your strength workouts? Well, you're more likely to owe it to your pinky. Just kidding. Anyway, a pinky is the strongest finger out there. This humble finger is responsible for 50% of your hand strength. Still, the most used finger is the thumb. It takes to itself 40% of the hand's action. Well, it probably makes it the most important finger too. Two more humble helpers are your toes that carry about 40% of your weight. If you've ever heard that humans don't really need their toes, don't believe it. They're also the main pushers when you walk. Tomatoes have more genes than humans. This shouldn't concern you though, because it's not the number of genes that matters, but the complexity of their connections. Nails don't only help us catch random objects and peel the stickers off. If you didn't have a rigid structure against which to press, you wouldn't be able to judge how firmly to hold anything. Our hair color is easily explained by genes. There are not more than 2% of people with naturally red hair. They're followed by blondes, about 3%, and all the varieties of brown shades, only about 11%. The vast majority goes to black hair, including very dark brown. Yeah, your hair can stop growing at a certain length. A hair usually grows from 2 to 7 years, so usually it doesn't exceed 42 inches. Well, tell that to this gal from China who broke all the hair records with the longest hair ever. In 2004, her hair was 18 feet 5.5 inches long. Rapunzel, where have you been, girl? When we laugh, think, look at something, dream, move, or do some other activity with our body, small electrical and chemical signals run between neurons along those connections. Our brain is always active, sometimes even more when we're sleeping than when we're awake. And by that, neurons make and send more information than all the phones in the whole world. You're sitting somewhere outside, and an insect lands on your leg. Your skin has sensory neurons, and they quickly send the message to your brain at an impressive speed, 150 miles per hour. The brain sends back the message to your leg to shake the insect off very fast, and the speed that information travels is even bigger, 200 miles per hour. Now, toenails grow around 4 times slower than your fingernails. This happens because we do more things with our hands compared to feet, which is why we cause more trauma to our fingernails. Now, there's a high possibility your right hand has different types of microbes than the left one. This happens because they cover our skin from head to toe, and their variety depends on our skin thickness, humidity, temperature, texture, and chemistry, which can change as we use our right and left hands in different ways. Our nails and hair are made of keratin, which is a material we find in certain body parts of some other animals as well. For instance, claws, hooves, horns, wool, fur, feathers, beaks, turtle shells, and porcupine quills. Our body is made of stardust. Really? The more complex elements in our body can only come about through supernovas. The first stars were just gassy lumps that were drawn together and, at some point, started the process of combustion. This finally led to a nuclear reaction in its center. Stars that were there right after the Big Bang were over 50 times bigger than our Sun is now. Inside of them, there was a constant process of making the elements, and those large stars were burning their fuel faster. Most of the elements in the human body were formed in those stars over billions of years, so you could realistically say that part of you is immortal. Cool, huh? We're traveling 1,000 light-years from our planet to an unfamiliar system. Here, there are two bright stars orbiting close to each other. But there is one small but very massive thing here as well – a black hole. These objects are mysterious and dangerous. They're capable of swallowing our entire world in 1 second without even noticing it. Even more, they can tear apart a huge star like our Sun. And it's these giants that usually lie at the centers of galaxies. They're so heavy that their gravity holds countless stars, planets, and stardust around them. They can weigh millions or even billions of times more than the Sun. And now, you're back on the ground, at a rocket launch pad on Earth. All you can think about is holding your breath and jumping into the heart of that black pearl. But you don't have to hold your breath because you'll be in a spacesuit, and the oxygen is included free of charge. Besides, you're not likely to ever make it to the black hole. A trip that far with the technology we have now would take tens of thousands of years. Back to your garage where you stashed your hyper rocket, which will take you to the black hole in seconds. And you're next to two stars in a black hole. First thing you notice is that the black holes aren't black. Its gravitational force pulls in not only objects, but even light itself. This makes the hole invisible. You can only see a bright ring around it. That's called the event horizon. It consists of twisted light, hot dust, plasma, and pieces of asteroids that are also trapped there. So the event horizon is the first obstacle to overcome. Okay, you put on your jetpack, open your rocket's door, and jump towards the black hole. The force of gravity begins to pull you quickly toward it. The spacesuit protects you from the enormous temperatures and levels of radiation on the event horizon. Conventional protective gear would hardly help you, so you thank your dad for stashing this super powerful protective suit in your garage as well. You begin to feel like your body's stretching unpleasantly. The problem is that gravity increases with every inch closer to the center of the black hole, and it's much stronger at your head than at your feet. Your body starts to stretch like spaghetti. That's why it's called spaghettification. No suit can protect you from that, and there isn't a single spaceship that can withstand that kind of strain. Well, this was a short video. Okay, let's rewind to the moment before the jump. You realize that to get to the heart of the black hole and survive, you don't need improved equipment, but another black hole. And it's the size and weight of it that matters here. Theoretically, you can survive falling into a supermassive black hole. It's all about the width of the black hole's event horizon. When a hole is small, about the weight of our Sun, the event horizon is small too. And then its edge is remarkably close to the center of the abnormal gravitational force, which would make you spaghettified quickly and brutally. But if the event horizon is wide, it's farther from the center of the gravitational force. Then the difference of gravity pressing on your head and feet will be non-existent. So if you have enough air in your spacesuit, you can survive such a journey. So you must pick a supermassive black hole. Let's see. One at the center of the Milky Way? No, there's too much hot plasma and debris around it. You need a completely isolated black hole for a jump like this. Somewhere in dark space where it hasn't had time to gather the debris of neighboring worlds around it. You quickly open your space map and find such a black hole. One faster than light trip, and you've arrived. There it is! A huge dark nothing. There's only distorted light from distant stars and galaxies on its event horizon. To test your theory, you throw a mannequin into it. It approaches the black hole and then slows to a standstill. But it's just an illusion. The black hole is so heavy it can warp both space and time. So, to the observer, the dummy is frozen in the event horizon, but it has long since entered its heart. The dummy didn't get spaghettified like you did when you fell into a small black hole, so now you're confidently jumping after it. Remember that even if you feel fine, it's still a one-way trip. Once in the black hole's field of attraction, nothing can escape its embrace, no matter how powerful a rocket you have or how hard you flap your arm. You're now at the edge of the accretion disk. Every second here equals weeks or months on Earth. You're traveling through time. Our home planet may already have flying cars and skyscrapers several miles tall all over the place. But for you, it's only a couple of minutes. Whoa! All the light you see from the stars has turned red. That too is because of gravity. The light we see is waves, but the black hole stretches them out. The short wavelengths of blue become long and red. Great! You've passed the event horizon and are now heading into black nothingness. You look up and see a thin ray of light. The last thing you see, in fact. After that, there's just black void. No one knows what happens next. Some theories say black holes can be portals to another dimension, or to another place in the universe. By jumping into a black hole in our galaxy, you can jump hundreds of thousands of light years away from our home. In that case, you will experience your fall in reverse. First, you see a small but expanding beam of light. Then, red starlight returns to blue. And before you know it, you're back on the event horizon. And soon after, you're free of the black hole's pool. But scientists still can't confirm this theory. Okay, that's too grim. So just this time, we'll bring you back to Earth in the company of your friends. They praise you for your accomplishment of surviving the center of a black hole. Now you're the heart of the company, and no black hole can scare you. But even the biggest black hole in space isn't as scary as you might think. They have a lifespan. That radiation I mentioned takes energy from the black hole. If it doesn't have food around it, the hole starts to deflate like a balloon, and eventually there's nothing left. Another fear around black holes is that we can create one at home. Indeed, inside the Large Hadron Collider, scientists conduct experiments with small particles colliding at high speed. There are huge bursts of energy, and some scientists believe this energy is enough to create a microscopic black hole. It will begin to absorb its surroundings and grow. First, some small objects in the room where it was created. Then, the entire lab. The hole continues to grow and is already consuming our whole planet. It changes the balance of power in our solar system and absorbs the planets one by one. When those are finished, it's time for dessert, the sun. The light upper layers of plasma are stretched into long spaghetti and pulled toward the black hole. Then, layer by layer, our star collapses into the dark abyss. When the sun is half absorbed, the black hole shoots a beam of energy and light outwards and continues to consume the sun. In mere moments, there's nothing left of our solar system. That's how some people describe the end of the world. But even if we do manage to create a microscopic black hole, we'll be safe. It'll be too small to absorb big objects, and it will only feed on small atomic particles. Black holes emit energy as well as consume it, so our little one won't have time to grow. It'll lose more than it finds in a fraction of a second. So what you'll see is a momentary flash and then nothing. Although creating a stable and controlled black hole may even be useful, they emit enormous amounts of energy that we can use. A black hole the mass of Mount Everest could power all of humanity. Of course, black holes are still dangerous, but we can watch them and study our universe. If we stay far enough away, of course. So, you decide to put a padlock on that garage door. For now.